A major shakeup for the Toronto Raptors. MLSE's confirmed that Masai Ujiri is no longer the vice chairman and president of the Raptors. Good afternoon. It marks the end of an era. MLSE announcing today they're parting ways with Masai Urjiri.
It comes as Ujiri was heading into the final year of his contract. CP24's Arda Zakarian is live up front of Scotiabank Arena with more big development, Arda.
Absolutely. He is so legendary for Toronto. He is respected, has done a lot for this organization. He made that incredible trade for Kawhi Leonard, led us to the top of Mount Everest. We got a championship, and he's changed the way people view the team. Here's more from TSN's Matt Cause.
Basketball, more than any other sport, is more of a star-driven celebrity league than any else. And Toronto can be a hard place for players to come here. You know, it's the wintry outpost, you know, here in Canada. Remember in 2019 when they won the title? Who was in the crowd at the ACC? It was Barack Obama. I mean, those were the relationships that Masai Ujiri had. It brought a little panache. It brought a little just celebrity. And now that's gone.
MLSE President and CEO Keith Pelly says in part during his 13 seasons with the Raptors, Masai has helped transform the organization on the court, and he has been an inspirational leader off of it. He has brought an NBA championship to Toronto and urged us to believe in this city and ourselves. We are grateful for all he has done and wish him and his family the very best as we plan for the franchise's future and his return to the NBA playoffs and its return to the NBA playoffs. A search for the successor as president of the Raptors, led by CAA Executive Search, will begin immediately. And in the last couple of years, we haven't made the playoffs. They've tried to turn the team around, move up in the draft from 9th pick, but of course, that didn't happen. He departs just a day after this NBA draft and less than a week away from the opening of free agency. He was going into the final year of his contract, and there is a scheduled change of ownership that's supposed to be taking place next year. An important thing to note, Masai Ujiri was the first and only African president, vice chairman of a professional sports franchise in all of North America. And we've seen him in Toronto doing a lot with his nonprofit organization, Giants of Africa, that uses basketball to empower and uplift youth in Africa through education, mentorship, and leadership programs. He will be missed as the leader of this team for so many people in this city and across the country. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Arda. And CTV's Jessica Smith is live with reaction from fans. Jessica.
Nathan, this comes off the heels of that NBA draft where the Raptors selected Colin Murray-Boyle 9th overall. And beyond that, Masai has been with the team since 2013. He has a storied history with the Raptors, and as Arda mentioned, led them to their first championship in 2019. And beyond that, he's had an incredible connection to the community, not only here in the city, across the country, and internationally. And as mentioned, the Giants of Africa program started back in 2003 with its first camp that helps enrich the lives of African youth. Now, Raptors superfan Nav Batia spoke to us earlier and said he feels a little blindsided.
Yes, I am shocked. Just like everybody else, I found it when I woke up this morning. And I am shocked and taken back a little bit because I was very close to him. And he was not just a general manager and president for the team. He was also a very good friend of mine with his family and everybody else.
And beloved in the community, fans are also reacting a little bit in shock.
Out of nowhere, they produced one of the best moments in the city of Toronto. Yeah. So, yeah, I wish them all the best in this. But quite shocked.
Did he make you a proud Raptors fan?
Oh, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, from Vince and everybody else, it was great. It was great what they did, and that was just the peak of the mountain.
What he did for the Raptors organization was great. So, you know, no real complaints about his time there. So, yeah, very excited that he actually got us the championship, made some big deals to get us there. But, yeah, a little bit shocked.
According to MLSE, GM Bobby Webster is going to be staying with the team, but the search for Masai's replacement begins immediately. Reporting live, I'm Jessica Smith. Michelle, I'm going to send things back to you.
All right. Thank you, Jess. And still ahead on CTV News at noon, it is the last day of school for many. And as the school year closes out, Ontario Education Minister Paul Calandra says the province has taken control of 4 more school boards. We'll have those details coming up a little later in the newscast.
Well, as we head into the weekend, most students and educators are celebrating the last day of their school year. It's especially bittersweet for grade 5s at Fernforest Public School in Brampton. CB24 was there this morning for a special celebration as teachers and staff bid farewell to those students who will be moving on to a new school next year. Students opened up on what the milestone means to them and how they're feeling heading into summer break.
I am feeling super hyped up and very shocked because I have been in the school for 7 years and it's all just gone by very quickly.
Kind of sad because I'm leaving this school and it's been like 7 years here, so I'm feeling excited and sad at the same time.
Was it fun this year?
Yes.
What did you like the most about school this year?
It's because I like to do is learn about things.
Yes. What about you?
I like when we play around.
The school's principal also weighed in on the end of the academic year.
This is a fantastic community, and as a Peel District School Board Administrator, I have never been more proud. The learning that happened this year has been astronomical. We've had a fantastic group of students, an amazing bunch of staff, and like I said, I can't be more proud. So we are so looking forward to our summer break, and they deserve every moment of it.
And so do you. Enjoy the break, everyone. School gets back in session the first week of September.
Well, it's the kickoff to a very busy few days here in the city with Pride weekend festivities getting underway.
Road closures are in place for anyone looking to head down to the Village. Let's go over to CTV's Janice Golding, who joins us now live from the Village with more on the anticipation. Oh, it's a big weekend in the city, Janice.
Certainly is, Michelle, and I can tell you that they are getting ready to celebrate here in the Church and Wellesley Village area as they get ready for this big weekend that you spoke of. Now, the road closures actually started at 9 a.m. here on Church Street, and they go all the way from the north side of Dundas to the south side of Hayden. And Wellesley is also shut down from Yonge to Jarvis. This is the culmination of a month-long celebration of the 2S LGBTQ+ community in the city, with this weekend expected to be a very busy one. Organizers predict more than 2 million people will flock to the area to take in events from the Trans March this evening to the Dyke March tomorrow afternoon, as well as the Drag Ball, which runs until midnight tomorrow at Nathan Phillips Square. The grand finale, of course, is the Pride Parade on Sunday, which will feature 25,000 marchers and more than 250 groups. Festival organizers say Pride Toronto is a promise to show up for one another every single day, united in our fight for a future where everyone can live unapologetically as they are. Here's more from festival goers.
We are from rural central Pennsylvania, and there is not a community that is robust like this here. So being able to be in a place where we're comfortable being ourselves in a community where we can be ourselves, we're really looking forward to it.
Where we're from, there's not a whole lot of that community base like we have here in Toronto. And just being able to experience the joy and the pride and being able to be who we are and be loved and welcomed by everybody is really just honestly a dream come true. I know it may not feel like it, but to be at an event such as this in a wonderful place like Toronto really is a big deal for us.
Now, given all the road closures downtown this weekend, organizers say you should plan your route in advance and take public transit if you can. Happy Pride, everyone. Reporting live from Janice Golding. Now back to Nathan.
Happy Friday. Thank you, Janice. And lots of excitement building for big Canada Day celebrations in the coming days. But police are warning they'll be on patrol at all city-run events. The weekend will cap off Tuesday with a massive fireworks display at Woodbine Beach, as well as Ashbridges Bay Park. Tens of thousands will gather to watch the big event, but police remind you to leave your own fireworks at home.
And with so much going on, we have to talk weather. We're taking a live look here at Nathan Phillips Square. Always something going on there as we head into the first weekend of summer vacation. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison with a look at the current conditions. Definitely cloudy right now, a bit on the cooler side, but I'm not seeing rain at least for the daytime hours.
Well, hopefully not, Michelle. We are going to be watching for the nighttime hours for sure, where we have an elevated risk of thunderstorms. Right now, the majority of the active weather is east of Georgian Bay. That's where we have special weather statements in place, warning of up to 50 millimeters of rain through today. Also a heat warning in place for Windsor. We'll talk about that in a little while. We, on the other hand, in Toronto have an east wind. Why does that matter? The wind's blowing off the cooler waters of Lake Ontario, keeping us a little bit cool today as well. It's 21 degrees right now at Pearson Airport. Look at this, though. It's only 15 degrees in cities like Oakville and places like Grimsby. It is the last day of school, and for pickup this afternoon, we anticipate that it will be 26 degrees. It's going to feel like 33, though, so that humidity is back. We are, however, watching for a line of thunderstorms that is expected to roll across the province later on tonight. Expected to be a little more impactful north of the city, but we'll time this all out for you coming up in your weather forecast. For now, though, Nathan, I'm going to send it over to you.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. Well, the city is going to make it more obvious where speed enforcement cameras are located. This comes as some of the cameras have been vandalized yet again. Police say cameras in 5 locations were damaged since Sunday. Vandals have repeatedly targeted the devices since they were rolled out in 2020. The cameras have come under criticism from some for unfairly penalizing drivers. City Council has approved a motion calling for larger, more visible and clear signage around speed cameras. City staff also going to investigate the feasibility of limiting the number of tickets that can be issued to a vehicle from a single camera location before the vehicle owner receives the first interaction or infraction in the mail.
There's been another violent smash and grab robbery, this time in Mississauga. Thieves smashed their way through 2 jewelry stores just after 6 p.m. last night in the Erin Mills Town Centre. They were wearing masks and armed with hammers. Peel police say the suspects fled in a vehicle. Calls to 911 indicate shots were heard, but police say it was the sound of the hammers smashing those jewelry cases.
Next to a close call for a police dog taking part in a field search in Burlington. The dog was hit in the foot by a shot after it stepped on a gun. The incident happened Thursday afternoon in the Burloak Drive and Harvester Road area. Halton police tell us the police dog was treated for the injury and is expected to recover. 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with the initial investigation. And here in Toronto, police and emergency services are tight-lipped about a hazardous materials call made last night on Millvan Drive in North York, and that's in the Weston Road and Finch area. Fire crews were wearing protective suits as they entered a commercial building at 49 Millvan Drive. Plainclothes police were also on scene. A bystander told CTV News power to the building had been cut off about a year ago.
A startling incident for residents of a West End neighborhood last night. A dump truck rolled over at a construction site and grazed the eaves of the house next door. This incident happened near Athol Avenue and Chartwell Road just before 6:30 p.m. The driver of the truck was taken to hospital to be treated for minor injuries. We turn now to that announcement from the education minister this morning.
Supervisors will be brought in to oversee 4 school boards, including 3 in the GTA. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris is live with more on today's announcement. Siobhan.
Well, this is certainly a dramatic finish to the school year. The Minister of Education says he's taking this step because the 4 boards here have exhibited what he calls mismanagement that puts their long-term financial health at risk. These are some of the biggest school boards in the country: the Toronto District School Board, the Toronto Catholic District School Board, the Dufferin Peel Catholic Board, and the Ottawa Carleton District School Board. Paul Calandra stressed that the TDSB trustees, for example, rejected 46% of the recommendations to cut costs that were recommended by management. The Toronto Catholic Board has tripled its in-year deficit compared to last year. Calandra can't say exactly how long these supervisors will be in place, but they do have a defined goal.
We are appointing supervisors with a clear mandate to get these boards back on track. Now, they'll take a close look at how these boards are run, find savings, and make the changes needed to restore responsible management and maximize support for classroom education. Their focus will be on ensuring that every decision made by the board prioritizes direct support for students in the classroom. Each supervisor brings a wealth of experience in public administration, financial oversight, and governance. They have been selected not only for their expertise, but for their proven ability to lead in challenging times.
The minister also announced today a one-year pause on the implementation of new curriculum. That includes an overhaul of the kindergarten program. Students were also supposed to do some mandatory learning next year on the Holocaust, the experiences of Black Canadians, as well as a new component of financial literacy. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. The provincial Liberals say they've received a letter from Ontario's Information and Privacy Commissioner confirming an investigation into reports of a data breach of private health information by a third-party vendor.
And so to emphasize, in the letter that I wrote to the Information and Privacy Commissioner, I specifically outlined my concerns that there has been a breach of patient health information involving 200,000 or more patients, and that it has not yet been publicly disclosed. We now know from the Commissioner that that is true.
The reported breach is believed to have taken place at Ontario Health at Home. Health Minister Sylvia Jones was asked about the situation this morning.
Ontario Health is absolutely investigating right now. We have a division that focuses on any potential cyber breach, and as is standard operating, we will, Ontario Health and Ontario Health at Home, will notify if there has been any form of breach to individual patients. But that investigation is going on right now, and you are correct, it was a third-party vendor.
And as this story develops, we will have the latest details on CTV News at 5 and 6 and online.
Consular officials are looking for more information about a Canadian man's death while in custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The agency says Johnny Noviello was found unresponsive in Miami on June 23rd. He'd been in the U.S. since 1988 and became a legal permanent resident about 3 years after. ICE says Noviello was being detained while facing deportation over a 2023 conviction for racketeering and drug trafficking. The cause of his death is being investigated.
In Ottawa, the Liberal government's major projects legislation is now law.
Is it your pleasure, honourable senators, to adopt the motion? Adopté.
Bill C-5 was approved by the Senate yesterday and was later given royal assent. It allows Ottawa to sidestep environmental protections and other legislation in order to fast-track projects it considers crucial to the national economy. Indigenous and environmental groups say it grants the government the ability to rush through projects without proper consultation. They warn there could be widespread protests and legal challenges if Ottawa doesn't respect their rights and titles.
In Washington, the U.S. Supreme Court issued decisions today that included emergency appeals relating to Donald Trump's agenda. A divided court ruled individual judges across the country lack the authority to grant nationwide injunctions against the policies and actions of the U.S. president.
I was elected on a historic mandate, but in recent months we've seen a handful of radical left judges effectively try to overrule the rightful powers of the president to stop the American people from getting the policies that they voted for in record numbers. It was a grave threat to democracy, frankly, and instead of merely ruling on the immediate cases before them, these judges have attempted to dictate the law for the entire nation.
Meanwhile, one of the rulings by the Supreme Court leaves open the possibility that birthright citizenship changes could remain blocked nationwide. Trump's order would deny citizenship to U.S.-born children of people who are in the country illegally.
NASA has released a new image suggesting water once flowed on Mars. This picture shows a series of crisscrossing ridges known as a boxwork pattern. They are believed to have formed from groundwater trickling through rock cracks billions of years ago. Minerals left behind by the water hardened within the rock, and after eons of sandblasting, the rock was carved away, revealing this network of ridges. The images were captured by NASA's Curiosity rover.
Well, after a brief reprieve from the heat, the humidity is back today in a big way, especially across southwest Ontario, where once again it is going to feel like 40 this afternoon. Not quite as hot and humid around the GTA. In fact, you will find relief close to the lakeshore today, but it is still warm, and tonight is a night to be weather aware. Keep an eye on the sky. Have a backup indoor option for your Friday night plans. We're going to be watching for the risk of thunderstorms. Jumping ahead into the weekend, Sunday Today is the Pride Parade, and the weather looks fantastic. Lots of sunshine, a high of 30 degrees. And for many this weekend, people are turning it into a long weekend. So we'll talk about what's in store for Monday and then Canada Day on Tuesday after this break here on CTV News. Stay with us.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
All right, let's talk about the forecast. A little cooler and cloudy to start, but we're heading into the long weekend. Weather's going to get better, and there's so many things going on. You got to love that.
I think even if it was pouring, kids wouldn't care, right? Because now summer is getting underway after the school day today. Some kids have already been off. And then, yeah, so much going on in the city. And there is some really nice sunshine and warmth in the forecast.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to in the weather forecast over the next couple of days, I think, if you enjoy summertime heat, sunshine, and hey, something else that's synonymous with summer, thunderstorms. We have the possibility of those as early as today, more likely into tonight, and they could be quite strong in some parts of our province. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. Earlier this morning, it was a bit of an overcast start. And yes, temperature-wise, you could feel that east wind, especially the closer you get to the shoreline of Lake Ontario. You will find some relief from the heat there today. Cloud cover is expected to break up and move out as we continue through this afternoon. But any sunshine that we get could actually help fuel future thunderstorms into the night tonight. Before we talk about the active weather, I do want to mention once again that there is a heat warning in place for Windsor, Ontario, and the rest of extreme southwest Ontario. And for anyone heading to the cottage, special weather statements blanket a widespread area east of Georgian Bay with up to 50 millimeters of rain possible by the end of the day today. We're also getting some thunderstorms at this hour. So if you're hitting the road, if you're already in this part of the province, you know that it's already active and it could become a little more active as we make our way into the night tonight. So area of low pressure, this cold front, there's a lot of instability in the atmosphere, and that front is going to act as a trigger for thunderstorms. So what makes a thunderstorm strong or severe in nature? A couple of different things, but what we're watching for today, the biggest threat is going to be some heavy downpours and potentially some damaging wind gusts. Again, this is mainly north of the GTA that we're anticipating any storms will be severe in nature. But let me show you the timing, and I'll show you what it looks like on the forecast radar just so you can plan accordingly. So we've jumped ahead to this evening. There is about 7 p.m. So right along the shoreline of Lake Huron and the south end of Georgian Bay, along with in through parts of cottage country, potential for thunderstorms. Going to pause it again here at about 9 p.m. So now northern ends of the GTA getting into some of this activity. As the front sinks further south, it actually loses a bit of its steam. So we're not anticipating that the storms will be quite as strong or powerful by the time they reach the city of Toronto. There's about 10:30 at night. I wouldn't count on these times as being exact, but hopefully this is a guideline for your Friday night plans. Unsettled through the overnight hours, chance of showers Saturday morning, really just in the morning hours. Then conditions are going to dry out. We're actually going to see the cloud cover clear as well as we make our way through the afternoon. So a nice bright end to the day on Saturday. And then Sunday, we're talking wall-to-wall sunshine, and it is going to be warm. Speaking of warmth, look at that. It feels like 40 this hour in Windsor. It will feel like 40 later this afternoon in London. Tonight, temperature once again remaining just slightly above the 20-degree threshold in Toronto. So another uncomfortable night for sleeping. Tomorrow's temperature similar to today. Humidity still making it feel like the low 30s. Temperature-wise, core temperatures maybe a degree or two warmer than today in some areas, and we certainly will be hotter by the time we make our way into the day on Sunday. Let's talk about the 7-day forecast because, as mentioned, lots going on. The second half of Saturday going to be drier and brighter than the first half. Sunday, lots of sunshine and 30 degrees. We're still hot into the day on Monday, temperature around 30, but we do see an increase in cloud cover, some showers returning as well. If we get any showers on Tuesday, it looks like it's going to be earlier in the day, so the evening hours looking great for anybody who wants to enjoy some Canada Day fireworks. And then for anybody maybe taking the first few days of July off, enjoying some summer vacation, I like what I see for Wednesday and Thursday. Lots of sunshine, Michelle and Nathan, and temperatures in the upper 20s as well. I'll send it back to you.
A lot of people are going to be happy about that. Thanks, Lindsay. Well, more than 6 years after it was first announced, construction is now underway to build the new Woodbine GO station in Etobicoke.
We are marking another step forward in our plan to tackle gridlock and shorten travel times for thousands of daily commuters.
The future transit station will be located on Highway 27 between the existing Etobicoke North and Malton GO stations on the Kitchener line. It is being built in partnership with Woodbine Entertainment Group as an easier way to access their track and to enable more service through the area. Woodbine GO is due to serve approximately 7,000 daily riders by the year 2041.
As the Ford government makes changes to alcohol sales rules in Ontario, you could soon see beverages being served up on wheels. The province is set to allow alcohol served on pedal pubs this summer. The Premier's office says companies will be allowed to apply for liquor licenses starting July 1st. The Ford government launched a pedal pub pilot in 2022, but alcohol wasn't allowed on the large multi-person bicycles. Pedal pubs currently operate in Toronto, Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ottawa, and Windsor. Councillor Brad Bradford says he supports the idea, which the province says is aimed at boosting tourism.
Local municipalities will still set the routes, they will still set the hours of operation, and so there will be a permit process for anyone applying to have a pedal pub and to operate it on the streets in Toronto. And we're going to want to manage, congestion impacts, think about the routing, make sure that this isn't a problem. But the good news is these have been operating on our streets as part of a pilot program for a couple of years now. And I can tell you, I've ridden on one in the Pride Parade 2 years ago. They're actually a ton of fun. And I think it's something that people will be really excited about.
It's still not clear when pedal pubs in the city will get the green light to offer alcohol on board. And we have more news after the break. Stay with us. Good news as the number of new measles cases in southwestern Ontario appears to have dropped.
But our health reporter Pauline Chan tells us health officials are keeping a wary eye as summer vacations and travel begin.
The Southwestern Public Health Unit reports just 5 new cases of measles in the past week, bringing its total in this outbreak to 756. But the graph of recent cases shows how dramatic a drop it's been since the height of its outbreak in May. Southwestern Health says, at this time we are cautiously encouraged by the recent decline in reported measles cases over the past weeks. While it's still early to confirm a persistent pattern, the consistency of the decrease does suggest a potential shift in the trajectory of the outbreak, and it may indicate that our public health interventions, including vaccination efforts, community outreach, and case management, are having a meaningful impact. We remain vigilant and continue to monitor the situation. And as students embark on their summer vacations, Toronto Public Health says vaccinations for school-aged kids are still available online, although appointments fill up quickly. As of early Thursday afternoon, appointments up to July 22nd were full.
We will continue to post vaccine appointments all through the summer, including hopefully a number of clinics in August as well.
Toronto has seen 8 measles cases in 2025, the most recent last week. And while the drop in cases in southwestern Ontario is positive, Dr. Vanita Dubé reminds us measles will still be a presence in the summertime.
So even if you're not planning to get on a plane and go somewhere, even if you're staying within the city, we've known that people come to our city and maybe go to a concert or go to an event where they actually have brought measles.
Last September, only 25% of Toronto's grade 11 students were fully vaccinated. But after suspensions were started in spring under the Immunization of School Pupils Act, the number rose to 87%.
We know that about 3,500 students had 1 or more days of suspension, but that was less than 15% of the total cohort.
Toronto Public Health says the suspension program will continue in the fall, and it is now considering which grade will be the focus next September. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Meanwhile, the latest province-wide update shows there have been more than 2,200 confirmed and probable measles cases reported since last October, and that marked an increase of 33 over the previous week. This continues a slowing of the spread from the weeks prior. Public Health Ontario says the increase in cases is linked to exposures among people who aren't immunized. So far, 149 people have been hospitalized. 107 are babies, children, or adolescents.
A big welcome on Prince Edward Island for the Prince himself. The Duke of Edinburgh is in Canada's smallest province, marking a military milestone and helping mend old wounds. Here is CTV's Maria Saru.
Flanked by members of the Mi'kmaq community, Prince Edward stepped onto the cultural grounds at Abiguit First Nation, ready to listen and learn.
It's education through conversation, education through awareness, and it's also education through responsibility.
With a lighthearted warning from the chief,
"Don't mess this up, you make me look bad."
The Duke of Edinburgh took his place in the drum circle for the Mi'kmaq honor song. He also went inside a sweat lodge and spent time talking to families, learning a little about each person he shook hands with.
Jason, nice to meet you. I think that the royal visit here shows the people in the community that you are a productive part of society, recognized by someone as prestigious as the Duke.
Meeting with Indigenous communities is one of the Prince's priorities for the tour, but it's the military that brought him here in his role as Colonel-in-Chief of the PEI Regiment, which is celebrating 150 years of service. The royal visit has been a long time in the making.
It's a mix of nervousness and excitement. It's an opportunity for our newer soldiers to meet our Colonel-in-Chief for the first time, and those of us in the old guard, quote-unquote old guard, get a chance to see him again.
Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Michaud says he first met Prince Edward as a young captain 10 years ago. Today, he's leading the regiment.
It's actually fairly personal being able to do that this time around, so just a huge honor and a privilege.
While the Duke's role is honorary, Michaud says it maintains meaningful ties to the monarchy, as Indigenous communities continue to invite the Crown to share space, stories, and song. Maria Saru, CTV News, Abiguit.
Well, singer Leanne Rimes is opening up about a recent onstage incident that saw her teeth fall out while she was in the middle of performing. Rimes says the incident happened as she performed at a casino in Washington State this week. She says a bridge in her front teeth fell out and she couldn't get it to pop back in. The 42-year-old has had a history of dental issues and says she told the crowd what was going on and kept on singing.
And so for the rest of the show, I was literally like this, pushing my teeth in, like every couple lines and singing, which, by the way, I never knew how many F's and thus and sh's that I have in my songs, especially Can't Fight the Moonlight.
Rimes says that was a first for her in her career and joked that anyone sitting in the front row of her future shows should please give her teeth back if they catch them.
Singer-songwriter Lorde released her 4th studio album today.
Since I was 17, I gave you everything. Now we wake from a dream. Well, baby, what was that?
The New Zealand musical artist has been teasing her album Virgin over the last 2 months since releasing that lead single, What Was That? Lorde will be taking this album on the road in the fall with a concert scheduled here in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena September 24th.
Still to come, a warning from OPP about an increase in paving and roofing scams. What to look out for if a contractor comes to your door after the break.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
While the kids are marking the last day of school, it is also the last day on the job for 2 teachers in Mississauga.
The pair are retiring after over 30 years at the same school. CTV's Beth McDonnell is live with more on the send-off. Beth.
Nathan, Michelle, this is a big day for those 2 teachers here in Mississauga, and it's an emotional day as well. These 2 teachers are saying goodbye to their school, St. Rose of Lima in Mississauga. It's with the Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board. Filomena de Oliveira has been teaching for 39 years, most of it teaching French and most of it at this school. Vivian Boehm has been in education and teaching French for 34 years, and it's the kids they say they are going to miss.
I'm going to miss the children, of course,
doing all sorts of activities with the children and watching them learn and develop, and not only academically, but also socially and spiritually. So that is what we center our focus on, our attention on, and it is the children that we will miss.
I'm going to miss the interaction with the students. I find that just the day-to-day, you come in as the teacher, but you end up learning more from the kids. And then the kind of inquisitiveness of the students and the interaction between them, and just the excitement when you see that they're engaged and really interested in what you're doing, and that that little spark has happened.
Both say they're also going to miss their colleagues, and this is a bittersweet day, as they say they're also looking forward to their free time and retirement. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
Enjoy all that well-deserved free time. Thank you, Beth. Well, the OPP has issued a warning following an increase in driveway paving and roofing scams that are happening across the province.
Some contractors are going door to door using fake names, demanding cash, and then leaving without finishing the job. CTV's Pat Foran has this consumer alert.
Paulette Blenman of Ajax is unhappy with her recently paved driveway. It's lumpy and uneven. The pavers who were going door to door charged her $6,000 and left a huge pile of debris behind.
All the information is not correct. They don't answer their phone. There's no way you can leave a message. You can't send an email. You just can't contact them.
Did these guys just come and knock on your door?
They just knock on the door.
Someone also knocked on Luigi Raffaele's door in East York. A contractor said he would do a ceiling job and other work, but once he was paid $3,900, he never came back.
I feel cheated. I feel that's not nice.
The OPP issued a warning saying contractors are going door to door across the province, pressuring homeowners into paving driveways, repairing roofs, and other home renovations.
They may seem very professional. They'll have their flyers, their websites, but often they'll be using fake names, false IDs.
Someone also knocked on James Blewett's door in Guelph and offered to pave his driveway. They also left behind a massive pile of old asphalt and no contact information.
It's cheap looking, and I'm not happy with it.
Jennifer Mason, also of Guelph, paid pavers in cash and was left with an unfinished driveway and a giant pile of debris.
Sounded too good to be true, but I didn't listen to my gut instinct.
They'll ask for cash up front, and in the end, they'll leave behind some poor quality work, and then you'll never see them again.
To avoid driveway, roofing, and renovation scams, beware of unsolicited door-to-door sales. Don't be pressured into having work done. Research companies carefully, get multiple quotes, and don't pay in advance. Police say if you're not careful, you could be the one picking up the pieces of a botched paving job. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Investors are keeping a close eye on the stock market today on both sides of the border. On Wall Street in particular, the S&P 500 is coming off a solid week and is up slightly for today, putting it close to an all-time high, depending on how the next few hours go. Strength in technology stocks have also meant positive signals for the S&P TSX Composite Index.
Stats Canada says our country's GDP was slightly down in April, its largest drop in 3 years. Overall, the country's gross domestic product edged down 0.1% in April. This is following a 0.2% increase in March. The manufacturing sector saw a notable hit, 1.9%, its largest drop in 4 years. Wholesale trade also saw the same decrease, its largest since 2023. Economists with TD Bank say the risks to Canada's economic growth are having an impact, especially in tariff-exposed sectors.
A Toronto casino is facing a $350,000 fine after a performer hosted an impromptu party following a concert. The Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario says the Great Canadian Casino Resort Toronto was handed the penalty after allowing an after-party to take place on the casino floor on September 24th of last year. It alleges casino management approved a request for the artist with more than 400 guests without any prior risk assessment or planning. The casino has 15 days to appeal the decision.
We're getting our first look at the newest outdoor concert venue in Toronto.
Rogers Outdoor Stadium in Downsview will be able to host 50,000 concert goers. CTV's Sean Lathong has this look.
It took less than a year to build. Now towering over Downsview Park, a large-scale open-air concert venue is ready to go.
Really exciting to be here today to celebrate the opening of the nation's newest landmark concert venue, Rogers Stadium.
The 50,000 capacity stadium combines seats with general admission, and it's big enough to attract large acts like Coldplay for 4 nights, and of course, the Oasis reunion tour for 2 nights in August. The initiative, led by Live Nation, partnering with Rogers along with both the city and the province, even had Doug Ford talking about his great relationship with Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow.
I'm going to take you out on a date to one of these concerts. I'm going to pick you up on one of those double bicycles. I'm driving because I know you want a glass of wine, and I'll drive home.
Parking at Downsview is limited, but in his announcement, Premier Ford said that patrons are encouraged to take transit, with the venue about a 10-minute walk from the TTC.
A great announcement is Metrolinx is following suit with the TTC, and they're giving free transportation on the way out of the concert, so that will bring you anywhere in Ontario, which is great.
Plans for Rogers Stadium were announced just 9 months ago, with Live Nation saying their experience was crucial in creating a venue so quickly.
We've learned a lot of things from Adele in Germany, from things we've done in California, and so we feel very, very confident about next summer.
Fans will be greeted by a large walkway with plenty to see leading up to their event. The stadium is temporary, while Downsview is slated to be developed over the next 3 decades.
You pulled it off, and really K-pop, you got a Korean band opening this up? I approve.
The opening concert this Sunday will feature K-pop group Stray Kids.
Sean Leathong, CTV News.
The Blue Jays continue their road trip tonight, beginning a 3-game series in Boston.
Past a diving third baseman Schneeman and down the line.
The Jays defeated Cleveland 6-0 yesterday, taking 2 of 3 from the Guardians. Toronto's 3 games behind first-place New York in the American League East. Jose Barrios is scheduled to start for the Jays tonight, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is listed as day-to-day after taking a fastball off the forearm on Thursday. To the pitch, and Canada's women's soccer team begins a 2-game international window tonight against Costa Rica. The Canadians have won all 17 meetings with the Central Americans, but they needed extra time to get past them at last year's Gold Cup. Kickoff at BMO Field is 7:30. Canada plays the top-ranked Americans in Washington on Wednesday.
Coming up, an iconic Canadian dish is reaching new heights. A BC carpenter putting his skills to the test, building, of all things, a poutine catapult. You want to see what this is about? Stay with us. A one-of-a-kind invention out of the Kootenays that is smothered in creativity.
The courteous creation is a tribute to Canada's iconic dish. CTV's Adam Sawatsky has the story.
Of all the things Jeremy Gervan had been asked to construct in his career, this was a first.
So they asked me to do a cheese curd flinging device.
Could he conceive of some sort of contraption, the local Francophone Association folks wondered, that could pitch fake cheese curds onto a pile of pretend poutine?
I thought this was pretty hilarious, as Canadian as can be.
It was the kind of question that could only be answered with oui, followed by Jeremy finding inspiration in the catapult invented by Leonardo da Vinci.
Because I'm a woodworker, I really came down to that Da Vinci design that uses 2 wooden springs.
Jeremy captured the whole process on camera, from crafting each component from scratch, assembling them all together, and then making countless refinements to make it propel properly.
The biggest challenge was to be able to have enough force without breaking itself.
The troubleshooting process demanded expertise in math, engineering, and physics before Jeremy considered the possibilities of yoga balls, bananas, and water balloons.
As a problem solver, it was those moments that were super interesting and exciting.
After more than 2 months, almost 400 hours, Jeremy finally debuted his device at the Francophone Festival, showcasing how high-density foam, carved to look like curds, could be catapulted about 30 meters into a poutine dish featuring chainsaw-carved faux fries.
Oh, yes! Glad I did it, and the result was fun.
And like the gravy on poutine, the joy these cheese chuckers expressed was the special sauce that made it all complete.
It was an honor to represent the national dish.
Well, his catapult is set to be sold as a fundraiser for the Francophone Society, and he suggests it could be repurposed as a mechanized mascot for a poutinerie, or come Halloween, a propeller of pumpkins. Jeremy hopes his contraption's true legacy is more constructive.
And I hope I can inspire people to be creative and pick up tools.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
Okay.
Very creative.
I want to see it launch poutine into my mouth.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Yeah, it's lunchtime.
It is lunchtime. Okay, let's talk weather. There's quite a bit going on, but some good stuff ahead, too, on the weekend.
Yeah, so we'll begin with the active weather potential. One more look at the satellite and radar is going to show a little bit of initiation, some showers starting to develop in southern southwestern Ontario, and we do have some cloud around the GTA. If we get a thunderstorm this afternoon, even a weak one, that could take the power out of later storms tonight. So that might actually be a good thing. Here's your cottage country forecast for the weekend in case you're headed north. Mostly cloudy for Saturday. Sunday looks sunny. And then here's an early look at Canada Day. Temperature close to 30 degrees. 7-day forecast looks like this. Watch for some wet weather on Monday. Any showers hopefully clearing earlier in the day on Tuesday. Nathan and Michelle.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. And that is CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6.